Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. President Reagan has decided his next move against Libya will be some kind of economic sanctions rather than military action. That tonight from White House correspondent Bill Plant, who says the decision came after Mr. Reagan met again today with advisors to decide how to respond to the brutal terrorist attacks 11 days ago at the Rome and Vienna airports. Plant says that White House sources tell him the president will reveal his decision and outline what sanctions he will seek during a news conference tomorrow night. State Department correspondent Bill McLaughlin says that one option that's been under study would urge the Western allies to ban flights into Libya from as many European capitals as possible. Our coverage tonight begins with a story in Libya reported by Steve Croft.
For a week now, the United States has been rattling sabers, a risky tactic in a delicate game. The threats of retaliation against Libya have not only caused the Arabs to line up behind Gaddafi, they've exposed disunity among the Western allies. Even Italy, which has absorbed more terror than anyone else in the last year, is against hitting back this time.
There has been a lot of criticism in Europe that the threats were not commensurate with the deeds themselves, that they could not, in fact, be carried out.
How do you retaliate against a shadow? That's the problem. This is the only verifiable picture of Abu Nidal, the closest thing to a psychopath on the international terrorist scene. Alan Hart is Yasser Arafat's biographer.
I'm told by Arafat and his colleagues that even Nidal's best friends have to pass through not less than 4 security checks before they get to meet with him face to face in his office.
And just where is his office? Most people think he moves frequently between Libya, Syria, and Lebanon. These pictures, taken last year by a German camera crew, purport to show an Abu Nidal training camp in the Bekaa Valley. But such camps are usually only temporary and used by several different groups. The experiences of the last few months have shown that terrorists live and plan in cities. You cannot bomb a terrorist at a Sheraton in Sofia. Barring some clever surgical strike that eliminates or neutralizes terrorist leaders, the United States has painted itself into a corner. A strong response against Libya could provoke a serious Middle East crisis. No response or a weak response would invite ridicule and more attacks. And that is why this man is smiling, at least for now. Steve Croft, CBS News, Tripoli, Libya.
The welcome at London's Heathrow today was unusual, to say the least. The airport has been on full alert for 6 days because British officials fear it may be the next terrorist target. Most of Europe has been in an unprecedented state of alert since the Rome and Vienna massacres.
But when it comes to doing something about terrorism, taking military action or economic sanctions against countries that sponsor terrorists, the Europeans are reluctant to act.
Even the possibility that the United States is ready to act alone against Colonel Gaddafi has made Europeans uneasy. British officials are upset over reports that the U.S. is considering using American F-111s based in Britain to strike Libya. And American suggestions for economic sanctions against Gaddafi are being totally rebuffed. Libya is a good investor and a good customer for everything from British tractors to German cars. The Germans sold over $500 million worth of goods in 1984.
Libya is one of those buyers who have a high esteem of German quality products, of reliability of German producers and exporters.
Italy sells the most to Libya, almost $2 billion a year. What's more, Libya owns a substantial slice of the Fiat company, Italy's largest private employer. The reluctance to act against Libya goes beyond economics. Europeans working in Libya are all potential hostages in any crisis. 1,500 Germans, 5,000 Britons, and more than 15,000 Italians. America's European allies are willing to condemn terrorism, but the only action they are ready to take is the sort of last-ditch defense that is now being mounted around Heathrow. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.